The next thing we take a look at is the name tag. We have a name tag template that we provide as part of our cookie cutter documents that we can send to you. Again, this is a cut and paste Word type document. And as you can see there, you can put somebody else's name at the top there as a workshop participant. We can also have the red part, the speaking as a critical skill for your job, replaced with whatever you call your workshop or your seminar, but certainly don't want to put Speechcraft in there anywhere. And it makes it very nice because this will go into a 3x4 plastic name tag that kind of hang around your neck with a string, or that kind of have a clip on. We've used both, and it works equally well for either one. But it's nice to have a template so you don't have to create all this stuff from scratch. You just drop in the cut and paste information off of your program, and it makes it very easy and very fast to go forward. You heard me mention earlier about the use of a welcome kit. A welcome kit has a number of pieces of paper in it that is very, very important to help the participants understand what they're doing, what's going on in the club, and get a handle on some of the things that are going on. The first thing we have in our welcome kit is a cover sheet. I'll show you that in just a moment. You should also have your mission statements for the district as well as the club. You should also have the terms and functions. One of the things that we discovered from many participants in the past is they felt very, very alienated when it came to understanding terms like an evaluator, a timer, an counter, and such. So we have a piece of paper I'll show you in a second that defines all of these things to help the participants sort of get into the spirit of what we're trying to do. And certainly there's a page that's very, very beneficial called Toastmasters Benefits, because everybody is looking at this. How is Toastmasters going to help me? Is it going to help me in my job? Is it going to help me with my organization? Is it going to help me with my family? How is it going to help me? So we have a sheet of paper that goes in here that helps to define all of that. Taking a look at the first one, this is your cover page. The cover page right there, you can see at the top, again, it's a cut and paste document, very easy to put your stuff in there. And going down the page, you can see what is going with this particular welcome kit. We can see the club mission, document number 2, how Toastmasters can help you, and then the explanation of special terms that we talked about. And then you have the speaking as a critical skill for your job workshop. Again, this is all cut and paste. You can put your times, your places of meeting, and so forth in there. And down underneath there, you'll see all of the officers of the club. This is extremely important that we found from past experience, that the members there can start to identify the different officers from the names on this list. And if they know they need to talk to somebody about being a member, they look to see who the vice president of membership is, and they feel a little more comfortable approaching that person if they want to discuss what it means to be a member, or see if there's an application or what the process is. So we strongly urge that you have this as your cover sheet for your welcome kit that you provide to all the participants. As a matter of fact, we use a modification of this as a standard welcome kit for any guests who come into our club throughout the rest of the year. We just change the information at the top so it's not focused towards a particular workshop, but just welcome to the Blue Ridge Toastmasters. And so this is something that you can use if you develop it once for Speechcraft. You can very easily modify it for use for regular guests and visitors to your club. So this is the cover sheet. The next piece of paper that we have in our cut and paste is what we call our mission statements. And the mission statements here talks about the values of Toastmasters International, why the organization does what we do. It talks about the vision of Toastmasters International. And then down at the bottom of the page, you can see, again, it's a cut and paste. You can put your club name in there and talk about the mission of your particular club is to help provide the mutually supportive atmosphere and so forth to develop your skills in speaking and also in leadership. This is the piece of paper that I was telling you about called the terms and functions. Again, a lot of people off the street feel very uncomfortable about listening to things like counter, timer, grammarian, evaluators, and so forth, table topics. I mean, all this stuff is really, really unusual, and so we have to make people feel a little more comfortable with this. And by using this piece of paper, it gives them the definitions of things so that as they hear them in the program, they can very quickly resort to this page and take a quick look and understand what it is, or perhaps ask the person that's sitting next to them. So again, it's a cut and paste document. You can put in the name of your information for your club at the top, your club number, area, and so forth as it relates to your particular club. This is the piece of paper which we call the Toastmasters benefits. Again, most people want to know, what's in this for me? How is this going to help me? Is it going to help me in my job? Is it going to help me in my organization? So we have this piece of paper. Again, it's cut and paste. It's in Word format. You can drop in your name and information at the top of the sheet. The rest of it will be exactly the same. But it helps to provide a little more sales, if you will, salesmanship to the club activities, and give them some reasons to join your club. The other thing I mentioned earlier is the use of agendas. I just cannot overemphasize how important it is that you use a printed agenda. And in the next series of documents I'm showing you, I have typical of the first, the second, the third, and the fourth and final meeting agenda that's used in a typical Speechcraft program. The thing I want you to pay attention to is how the workshop meetings are staged to introduce a new functionary each week. One of the things that we learned from a lot of experience at conducting Speechcraft over the years is that when you bring somebody into a room and you engage them in this program that is just full of all these unfamiliar things going on at once, it's very, very intimidating, and some people get scared away and will not come back. So we learned to stage the introduction of the functionaries to make it a little bit easier for these people to assimilate the information and understand what we're doing. For example, here's week number 1 agenda. Again, it's a cut and paste document. It makes it very easy for you to go right in there and cut and paste your names, your programs, your speaker names, and so forth right in there. And one of the things that we learned early on was that we have a keynote speaker for each one of the 4 programs. And most important for the people who are participating in this program, they really like the idea that the keynote speeches that they were presented with gave them some information that was usable that day. When they walked away from that particular program that day, they had learned a new skill or something that would help them in their business. So this is one of the things that we want to strongly emphasize, that you use keynote speakers. This is not something we normally do inside a regular agenda for a regular Toastmasters club. But we found that this works extremely well in helping to provide some usable, workable information that people can take away. The next thing is on week number 1, we want to show you here that we're introducing the timer and the joke master. You'll see that there's no table topics here. You'll see that there's no really evaluators here. There's really a very, very minimal amount of the functionaries who are working in place on this particular agenda. So you don't want to scare them away. So you just use this week 1 to have those particular people introduced. Joke master, people know what that is, and they'll be the timer. Okay, whatever your timing device is. So the next time we come into week number 2, you'll have the same type of format, but now you add the grammarian and the evaluators. And the Toastmaster who is performing for the program does a little introduction every time that they see a new functionary introduced on week 2. The Toastmaster spends just a little bit of time explaining what the grammarian does, what the timer does, you know, what the evaluator does and how it works and how it helps the Toastmaster. So as they see it on the agenda, they'll know what's coming and they'll start looking for that particular functionary to see what they do. On week 3, you'll see that we add the counter and the table topics. Now what we've learned is that the counter can be a little bit disconcerting depending upon what your noisemaker is. Sometimes it's a clicker, sometimes it's a little bell, sometimes it's a little ooga horn, sometimes it's something like a little squeaky toy. But some people really don't understand that, so you've got to spend a few minutes explaining what that is and how that instant, immediate feedback can help your speaking skills. And if you're not prepared to do this, then you're going to confuse some people and possibly run them off or scare them off because they won't understand what that is and why it's being done. You also notice here in week number 3 we're introducing a table topics. And again, from our past experience, we find that table topics is really one of the things that people really get scared of most because it's the off-the-cuff speaking. And people can do okay when they have some time to prepare for a little speech, but when they have to stand up and speak off the cuff, it really scares a lot of people. So we want to make sure we do our best to introduce this table topics master on week 3. And we also use this as a filler for participation because this is a hands-on workshop. Everybody who is participating in this is expected to be giving their icebreaker speech, and you'll see on there speaker number 1, speaker number 2, and so forth. these types of speeches there are by the particular participants. So from after the first agenda, in week number 2 and week number 3 and week number 4, you want to have as many of your participants giving their icebreaker speech as possible. And the ones who do not get into the speaking slot, if you have enough people, and there's usually only enough room for 9 speakers, then you want to start calling on the other people for table topics. Again, give them their time at speaking so that they can see what it's like to actually participate in the workshop, because this is why they're coming here, to help overcome some of their fears and learn how to think on their feet. This is week 4. Again, it's a cut and paste document. Okay, you want to make sure that you have enough time to present the documents, and don't allow the audio counter to use any audible noisemaker for any of the speakers in this particular program. So this gives you the opportunity then to make sure you recognize all the people who participated in the program and let them have their minute in the sun, if you will, to participate in speaking, either as a speaker or as a table topics participant. And finally here, to help people out when we give them the job of having an icebreaker speech to give at the next meeting, you can go to the Speechcraft Starter Kit Workbook. There's a sale at that particular web URL right there, and they're very inexpensive, so you can buy some of those. But we also provide this little hint for your icebreaker speech. Again, it's a cut and paste with a little red spot down at the bottom there where it says the Blue Ridge Toastmasters. You can cut and paste your club name right into that. You also want to assign a club member to each participant. The club mentor will actually help this person work their way through an icebreaker speech, come up with a title for it, maybe help give them some tips and hints on how to best do this, in addition to giving them the sheet that's in their stack of information for the participant. We also have certificates. This is set up on a printing format of 8 by 10. This allows you to go down to the dollar store or some place that's relatively inexpensive and get a frame for this. Again, this document is cut and paste, so it's very easy for you to put in the person's name, again, change the club name there and so forth, and put in whatever information you need there for the speaking as a critical skill for your job, or the name of your webinar, or your seminar, or your workshop. One of the things that we learned is, for sure, you want to make sure that if you buy this the frame for this program and you frame it, the reason that we found this was important is because if you give them a piece of paper, that is, if they're unframed, those certificates will be deposited in the round file or put in a drawer. But if you give it to them framed, there's a very high probability they'll either set it on their desk or hang it on their wall, and that gives an opportunity for people who are around them to take a look at that and say, oh, what is that? You participated in a speaking workshop of some kind. And again, we've been able to get a number of new members into the clubs because workers and associates see this hanging on the wall or sitting on the desk, and it gives them an opening talking point to get prospective members in the front door of your club. So make sure that you frame these things when you hand them out. Do not hand out just the pieces of paper. And then finally, once the program's over, you want to make them an offer they can't refuse. You want to build this bridge to the membership, and this is the right time to do this. Now is when you hand out the membership applications. And whenever you make them the offer they can't refuse, what you're asking them to do is you tell them that you want to encourage them to join the club now. And for example, if you charge them $20 for the workshop fee, and by the way, there should always be a charge for this because there is some real extra expense in case of the copies that you have to make, the name tags and so forth. There's a little bit of an expense to this. But we've also found over the years that people will come to the program when they have to pay. You get a much higher participation and a much higher degree of success if these people pay as compared to offering it free. We had some clubs who didn't believe that, and they offered out free. They hardly got any participants whatsoever because if it's free, it looks like it has no value. But $5 a week to do a workshop is something that everybody will find very, very affordable. And if we give them the deal they can't refuse, here's what we tell them, is if you join like right now or within the next week, or we give them a deadline, say by the 15th of the month or something like that, the $20 workshop fee will be applied towards their regular membership dues. so they don't have to come up with nearly as much money as they would if they had just joined outright. So that's a nice big plus. They've already spent the $20 and now they can apply it to the membership. Number two, they also get credit for their icebreaker speech. The icebreaker speech, as you know, is the #1 speech in the CC manual. So you can say, hey, 9 more speeches and you're a competent communicator. So this is some more incentive for them to do this. Now at this point in time, you should get about 70 to 75% of the people who participated in your Speechcraft program to actually sign the membership thing and go for the program and become a member of your club. If you do this properly, you can always expect, on the average, a 70 to 75% success rate on getting people to join your club. The last thing we do when the Speechcraft program is over is before they walk out the door, that is when you've handed them a certificate and you made them the offer they can't refuse, you want to hand out this feedback form. And again, it's a Word document, it's cut and paste, and all of the questions there don't change, but what changes is the information at the top, so it's very easy to do this and print it out. And you use this as an evaluation form and the feedback that you'll use for planning your Speechcraft next year. Now, what we've discovered over the years is the clubs who do very well on their Distinguished Club program run a Speechcraft program every year, usually the same month. They get it down to a science where it's just a routine, regular thing that they do, just like having elections. This makes things go very, very smoothly. And this particular document gives you the opportunity to fine-tune your program so that the participants tell you exactly what they liked and didn't like and what that was okay, and more importantly, give you things that you could do to improve the way that they perceive the program being presented to them. So we see this as a very, very valuable piece of information that you can use in your club. And make sure then finally, once it's done, you want to write a final report for future planning. If you don't take and summarize all of the information that's gathered, all of these feedback forms, you'll lose an opportunity to make things better and better for your club as you go forward. Some clubs have been doing this for 4 and 5 and 6 years now. Just have this down routine. It just absolutely runs slick as a whistle. Everybody knows how to do it. They know what's coming. They've got all the documents prepared from one year to the next. The cut and paste becomes very minimal because now they have everything on their documents with their headlines, their names, and so forth. It makes it very, very easy. But make sure the final report is actually posted and given to all the officers of the club so that the next year around, everybody knows exactly what's going on and what things you can do to make it better. So just keep in mind now that Speechcraft is a powerful membership building program. Just don't call it Speechcraft. You call it a workshop or you call it a seminar. If you need some help on this, you can ask your area governor or your division governor for the Speechcraft cookie cutter documents. They're all Word documents, cut and paste. There should be about 16 or 17 of them, depending on how we're doing it. And remember, Speechcraft equals new members. So every time you hear the word Speechcraft in the future, you instantly think in your mind, new members. Speechcraft equals new member. It's the #1 way to build membership in your club. If you need some help from me, here's my contact information. I'm the District 37 Club Fitness Chair. That's my email address there, and that's my phone number. I strongly urge and welcome you to contact me at your convenience so that we can help you build a successful club membership development program around Speechcraft. Thank you very much for your time, and good luck with your club membership building program. This is Chuck Blethen, District 37 Club Fitness Chair, signing off from now. Have a good one.